كالشبه الوضعي في اسمي جئتنا والمعنوي في متى وفي هنا. كالشبه الوضعي في اسمي جئتنا والمعنوي في متى وفي هنا. كالشبه الوضعي في اسمي جئتنا والمعنوي في متى وفي هنا. كالشبه الوضعي في اسمي جئتنا والمعنوي في متى وفي هنا. So last time we talked about المعرب and المبني, and we learned what these are. So in the case of a noun, so a noun when it's معرب or if it's مبني. And we said the likeness of the noun to meaning letters makes it a مبني. That's why it's similar to letters and meaning letters in that it does not change its ending in different positions in the sentence. Now we go into the details. What are these similarities between the noun and the letters that the grammarians think cause it to have a fixed movement? So كالشبه, ka as ka. الشبه, this L here is not pronounced because of this connecting hamza is not pronounced within a word or within a sentence. And this L, if it's followed by a sun letters like this sha here, this L also is not pronounced. So that's why I say كالشبه, and I double this sha here. So كالشبه, شبه. الوضعي, the way it was put. وضع, الوضعي is the placement. So وضع, he put. وضع. So وضع الطعام على الطاولة, he put the food on the table. وضع. So the way it was put, so this similarity to the placement of that noun or the way it's put in the two nouns اسمي, في, in, اسمي, the two nouns اسمي. So this is originally اسمين, the two nouns, but because when you add this to another noun to say of something, the two nouns of something, you drop this n here. So that's why you see it as اسمي, في اسمي here. So in the two nouns of جئتنا, جئتنا, this is here a sentence, full sentence. جئت. So جئت, this جئت here, it came from جاء, he came. For reasons that we'll not discuss here, if the one of the pronouns, the subject pronouns, is connected to the past tense, which is the ta, the moving ta, this middle vowel is dropped. So this becomes جئت. So you can say جئت, جئت, جئتي. So جئت, I came. جئت, you came. جئتي, you came, feminine, singular. So what he's saying in the two nouns of جئتنا. So جئت is the verb. So this is not a noun. جئت. This here, this جاء, came from جاء, he came, is not, this is the verb. This ta here is a noun because it's a pronoun. The pronoun is called in, it's a noun and it has a fixed movement. If it's the second person singular masculine, you get this a here, جئت. So that's the first noun. So في اسمي in the two nouns, اسمي, the two nouns of this sentence here, جئتنا. Now the second noun is this na here, us. So na, in this case, it's an object because it came after a subject pronoun. So this na can be a subject pronoun or an object pronoun. So now he's saying the way these two are put by the Arabic language when they spoke it, they use it as a letter. So this is a noun referring to a person, you, this ta. So this is the first noun. It looks like a single letter. So the alphabet, the letters of the alphabet, that's how they look, one letter. So this noun is looking like a letter in the alphabet. And in Arabic, the minimum number of letters to form a noun is 3. But notice this one here is similar to a letter in the way it's used, so that's why it has a fixed movement, this here, in the case of this pronoun. The second pronoun, also a noun, so this is na here, na. So this na here has 2 letters. So just like the meaning letters, they're formed by 2. As I said, the nouns are they go back to 3 letters. There are some exceptions that cause it to lose one of them, and you will always see it as 2 letters, but that's a different discussion. Now, what this verse is saying, that in the way they are put, these nouns, they are similar to the meaning letters, like fi here. This is fi, in, is a meaning letter. So it's similar to it, and it's formed in that it is formed by 2 letters. So na. So this is the first reason that cause a noun to have a fixed movement at its end, because of this similarity in form to letters or meaning letters. والمعنوي في متى وفي هنا. و and المعنوي, the thing or the word that has a meaning or in meaning. In this context, كالشبه الوضعي, we talked about الوضعي, so the similarity in placement or the way it was placed originally in the language, الشبه, the similarity الوضعي. Now this wa means كالشبه المعنوي, so and و المعنوي, so the similarity in the way it was placed originally in the language, so in the language structure, and the meaning, in meaning. So this similarity in meaning is one of the reasons, or the second reason given in this verse, to call these nouns as meta, which means when, meta, and huna, which means here. So what he is saying, the grammarian, is that these words mata and huna, they are similar in meaning to meaning letters. So if we review meaning letters, here I will leave the link for this book in the description, discusses حروف المعاني, the meaning letters or the letters of meaning. So here it says they call them meaning letters to distinguish them from حروف الهجاء. حروف الهجاء are the letters of the alphabet. So just to distinguish them from the other ones. Now here they define a letter. الحرف, which is a letter, is a word لا يتم مدلولها. Its indication or what it means is not complete إلا بإضافتها إلى الاسم أو الفعل, unless it is added to a noun or a verb. So this is the definition of a meaning letter. And here they give an example of a meaning letter. This word هل. I translate this هل here in this context as did. So هل عاد أخوك من السفر? Did your brother come back? عاد, he came back. أخوك, your brother. من, from. السفر, the traveling. So did your brother come back from the travel? So هل here it's a meaning letter. Its indication or what it indicates is not apparent or complete unless it's added to a verb. In this case عاد, he came back. So because it's like a letter in that, even though it's made up of 2 letters here, alphabetical letters, it's called a meaning letter. So this is what's meant by meaning letters when the grammarians give that name to a part of a sentence. So here they say some of these meaning letters you will only see with nouns, so they're always connected to nouns, and some are only connected to verbs, and some they connect to both of them, to verbs and nouns, and then they go into discussion of these. Now if we go back to our verse here, It says والمعنوي. So the second similarity is in meaning. In متى, في, in متى. متى means when. So this word متى means when. So متى is when. So the way this word when is used, it's similar in meaning to a meaning letter. So we saw an example of meaning letters, and here it also indicates هنا. So هنا, it means here. هنا is here. So if we check this explanation in this for this verse by the author Ibn Aqil, notice here he says the second similarity. This noun is similar to a letter. Either the letter is existing, so in the language there exists a letter, a meaning letter, that is similar to in meaning to this noun. And another example is, or another part of this similarity is being similar to a letter that is غير موجود, that is not existent, so it does not exist in the language. And the grammarians say, because that's the way meaning letters are used, if a noun is used like that, it's replacing a meaning letter. So the Arabs never used a meaning letter to indicate that meaning, so they use this noun. And this similarity is causing it to be to have a fixed ending. So here they use the examples given in the verse. So متى here متى, he says تستعمل للاستفهام. It's used for inquiry. So an example, متى تقوم, when do you stand? متى تقوم. So here I'm using it for inquiry. Now a meaning letter that's used to inquiry is al-hamza, a. So if I use the hamza with كتبت, you wrote, أكتبت, did you write? أكتبت, did you write? So the hamza is a meaning letter. So he says in this case, when I say متى تقوم, when do you stand, I'm using it as an inquiry meaning letter. And the second case is متى تقم أقم, at the time you stand, I stand. So this is conditional. So here it says متى, and because of its meaning when, so this is indicating a time. So you can think of it also as, if at a time you stand, I will stand, because you're not specifying a certain time. So also you can understand it as if. In English I can translate it as if at a time. So in here he says وفي الشرط, on conditional meaning letters, كأن, so as in. So in here is used as if in the Arabic language. So here I can think of it as, if at a time you stand, I will stand. So here it's a conditional meaning letter, but it's indicating the time. So in these two cases he says وفي الحالتين, in the two cases it's similar to an existing meaning letter. And so we saw this example here. Now for the word here, هنا, which means here, it's he says it's similar to a letter that should have been put or placed, existed in the language, but it was not. So, and he explains it as, because pointing or demonstrative nouns or pointing to something is a meaning. It's one of a meaning among the meanings. So it has should have had a letter to indicate it, just like they did ma for negation, to indicate negation, or la for forbidding or telling someone not to do something. Nahi, and nahi, nafi is negation, nahi is to forbid something or someone from doing something, so you say don't do that. Or later, to wish for something, or لعل, to للترجي, to hope for something, and so on. So this is the explanation, is that the demonstrative nouns, they have a fixed ending because they are similar to a meaning letter that should have existed, because that's how they are used, the demonstrative noun. They are used as a meaning letter. But in this case, it does not exist, but because it's acting like one, they explain that's why this noun has a fixed ending. And here it's similar to an existing letters, meaning letters, like the hamza, a, and in here. And here he lists 4 similarities to letters that cause these nouns to have a fixed movement. So I talked about 2 of them. So here this text talks about these. So in 4 places, 4 مواضع. الأول is the one I just talked about. Number 2 here is the similarity in meaning. Next time, inshallah, I will cover the 3rd, is discussed here. The 4th letter, reason that cause it to be similar to letters, is here. So we will talk about these, the 3rd and the 4th, in the next verse, inshallah. So here, this text, I will leave the link for it in the description from this book, القواعد الأساسية للغة العربية. So here it discusses the types of likeness between the noun and the letter. In the types of mushabaha, the likeness, daira, that is circulating, or it's happening between the letters and the noun, al-ism wal-harf, the noun and the letter. So here he goes into more details. I will just show the text. I will not go into these. There are more details there. So here it describes the shabah al-wad'i. You have examples there. And here there is more discussions of that. And more examples. And here also more discussion. See here, he used the word al-istimali, the usage. This is the 3rd reason to have the noun similar to a meaning letter. So it's the way it's used. So here he discusses the 4th similarity, which is the need to have something else like a sentence to complete the meaning. So thank you for listening. See you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. كالشبه الوضعي في اسمي جئتنا والمعنوي في متى وفي هنا. كالشبه الوضعي في اسمي جئتنا والمعنوي في متى وفي هنا. كالشبه الوضعي في اسمي جئتنا والمعنوي في متى وفي هنا.